one more cut turning upside down. Hello and welcome. In this video I would like to make, together with you, an owl. How do you make an owl on the lathe? Well, it's not exactly an owl, of course. I must say it's a bit stylized, because if you look at this owl, it doesn't even look like an owl, but you probably recognize it as an owl. It's a mood owl. Depending on your mood, you can put it in different situations, like I'm sad, expectant, guilty, cute.
I like cute.
Yeah. If you make an owl, you can show off with your skills. For instance, it starts with making a sphere. We'll make a sphere as close to a sphere as possible. And how do you make these eyes? Well, this of course is just with a chisel in and cut it away. But these eyes, well, they're a bit difficult. It starts of course with a block of wood. Tell me you didn't expect that. It starts with a block of wood. In this case it is cherry. And first thing to do is make it round. So let's determine where the center is. You see, I only have quality tools here in my workshop. This one I made myself. So, and there's the center. Piece of cherry is approximately 70 millimeters, and it is about, it is about 30 centimeters long. So the speed somewhere in between 1200 and 1500 RPMs. It's not that critical actually. And we're going to make it round. I'm not round yet, but I don't mind, because first I want to put this in a chuck. You see the angle over there? That's the angle that is in my jaws. So that is 52. Somebody wrote me an email saying I shouldn't say 52 mils, I should say 52 millimeters. So we have quite a big owl now. We're not going to use the whole part, I think, because of the shape of the owl. But what we'll do is we first make a perfect sphere over here. To make a sphere, we first have to make the whole thing, not the whole thing, just the part where we want to make the sphere. We have to make that round. And I want to make it a little bit smaller than the diameter here. I'll explain later why. And I want to have it, and I want it to have the same diameter on both sides. $60mm on both sides. That's good. So now we're going to put some lines on the wood. First, I want to make it straight over here. And a sphere has the same diameter everywhere, of course, so I now can say 60mm over here is where it should end. And also in the middle I put a line, and that of course then is 30mm. Good. Now we have 60 over here and 60mm over here and a line in the middle. Now I could say I just eyeball a sphere. If you have made hundreds of these, you can probably do this without putting any lines on the wood. But if not so, you can put more lines on the wood to help you make a perfect sphere. And that is, you can put these lines on the wood 29% of the diameter measured from the edges over here. 29%. So if I have 60mm, I'm sorry I can't do that by 60, 29%, 17.4. So I take my calipers and 16, what did I say? 17.4, and there's a line, and also, so that's 29%. 29%, and this is 42%. 17.4, which also means over here. And on this side I can do the same, but most of the time there's wood in the way. And well, I'm kind of lucky because it is exactly here in the corner over there. And now an important part of making a sphere is creating a straight line from this pencil line to this pencil line, and from this pencil line to this pencil line. I look myself like an owl if I look in the camera like that. When I do courses, I often see that this is difficult for people to do, but there's two things to be aware of. If you're cutting, look where I'm cutting. Just below the middle of my gouge. You see that? Just below the middle. Keep below that middle, and also the bevel of the tool should be on the wood and pointing in the direction of cut. And if I do so, it is not difficult at all. You can do it with one hand.
It looks very easy.
It is. Now continue until we are great, it's straight. Now I'm going to put on the wood another guideline on my wood. Here in this surface, exactly in the middle, I'm going to put another line, and on the other surface, the same line. These three lines then, they have to be visible when I cut my sphere. On the other side. So, three lines. Now I'm going to cut my sphere, and these three lines have to stay visible. Can start by making it a bit thinner here and a bit thinner there. Take some off here, take some off there. Okay, time to do some sanding, and then we'll do the last part over here. I can do one more very light cut. So, sanding. Now you see the sphere already, and now you also see why I wanted to keep these lines visible. They're just guidelines for me to say, okay, I'm not allowed to cut these lines away, which forces me to make a nice and smooth surface in a real sphere. If it doesn't work out that good, I'll tell you in a minute. Let me take this off. Now, If it doesn't look perfect, there's always a way out. You see, I have lots of sanding templates, and this one is 60 mils, so it fits my sphere. And I will have a piece of sanding paper to fit this.
That's really smart.
No, that is... Well, it's to cover that you can't turn that well. Not that fast. I've sanded it to 240 now, 240 grit that is. Leaving us one little, how do you call it, Lies? A nipple?
Naap.
To finish. Now I have to remount this sphere to match this little point here that it's a sphere not only on this side but also on this side. Several ways to do that. Let's start with the most difficult one. And that is making a hole in here and clamp it in that hole. Take off a bit of wood here. Now, of course, the problem is how to clamp this so you can take this thing off, and also how we clamp it so we can make two eyes over here. We'll start with the most difficult one, that is make a hole in here where we put it in, and then it's stuck in this hole. So I have to make the diameter just a little bit smaller than the diameter of the ball, and the depth of my hole just a little bit deeper than the diameter, than half the diameter of my sphere. And if you do that on a market or something like that, or if you have other wood turners in the neighborhood, show off and do it turning upside down. There we go. But if you're alone in your workshop, you don't have to do it like this, of course, because it doesn't matter if the... Now you see, if you turn this upside down, you have a real smooth finish inside. But we don't need that smooth finish. We can also scrape it if we want, like this. Or you can take a real scraper to do this. Look at this. Let's see what we got. We're not there yet. Well, we're not there by far. I have to go much wider and also deeper. 2.4, and I need to be just over 3. There we go again. One more cut, turning upside down. And now it fits, I hope. Yeah, oh, whoa. It fits great. Come over here. Nah, well, it fits almost. You see, never be too self-assured. One more pass. Fingers crossed. Oh, ho, ho. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, let's finish this. That, of course, is a very light pass. And now the hard part sometimes is getting it out again. There it is. Good. And in this way, of course, I can also make the eyes of my owl. But I want to show you another way. I have to say it's the, how do we call it, the lazy boy, the spoiled boy, the easy, expensive way to do it. I do that with a vacuum, as we do a lot of production work here also. I have a vacuum pump to easy make lids or platters, these kind of things. It works. So what are you laughing?
It's no good, I think.
No, it's too
It
small.
looks like an egg now.
Oh, okay. That is not going to work. What I did is, look, the chuck is a it's just this is the smallest chuck I have, and the head is just a little bit too small for the chuck. Okay. Well, back to the old school. So we're going to mount it in here again. Let's see, we have 2 eyes. If we look on the surface of the owl, it would be nice if there was a nose about here and the eyes about here. Something like that. Looks better here than over here because of the grain of the cherry. And we're going to take a different life center, one with a bit smaller I've made a little hole in here now. So if it doesn't work and the piece flies away, easy remount it in exactly the same position. Let's look at how big the eyes. An owl has big eyes, so let's make big eyes. And it looks nice. Over here, on this owl, you see that the two eyes are, there's a space between the eyes. It looks better if the eyes go into each other. If that is an eye, take it out. It's not my best day. One eye is bigger than the other one.
He's a little bit drunk, I think.
Let's start anyway. So this is the smallest eye that has to be a bit bigger. We know that now. There is eye number one. Send it immediately, of course, because if I've done the second eye, I can't reach this place anymore. Well, I can reach it, but not with a piece of sandpaper, only by hand. Okay. Now we move to the other eye. And now I've made my uh, 10.5 and 31.5. There we go again. Measure if it has got the same diameter. Well, okay.
Looks okay.
Yeah, it looks okay. Always stop your lathe when you move your tool rest. Check if it is the same, the pupil now has the same height. No, it's got to be just one last pass. think this will be it. Yep. Now we have to make the owl's beak. Well, that's just a few cuts with something like this. With a normal, well, what's normal? With a small chisel. Be careful doing this. Yeah, it's good. Bit of sanding. I use a piece of wood I use this edge here to sand both. That was 180. And now we go to 240. You can go up to 1,000 or 2,000 if you want. But I stop here. There's the owl's head. The most difficult part is done now. Now we have to make the body for the head to move on. And if you normally look at an owl, it hardly has a neck because it goes straight up. But I think that looks a bit weird, and we have stylized it already, so we stylize the body of the owl also. There's a big hole here now, and I don't need that big hole. I just need a small part. So I'm going to take a bit of the... Sorry, Kees. I'm going to take a bit of the wood away. That's for Kees. That maybe is already enough to... that is already... It's way too much. Check again. That looks about what I like. So the head fits. Let's make a nice body now. First some rough cuts. Bit of speed. If I was that owl, I would say I'm too fat. So I'll make it just a little bit thinner. That looks better already. I think that's about the shape we would like to have.
Yes.
What do you say, Lies?
Yeah,
It's
it's
okay?
cute, yes.
Ooh. Good. Then let's fine sand it. What do you say, Lies?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What do you say, Lies?
I think he's very funny.
Oh, it is a he?
Well, yeah.
Part it off. Make a bit of space.
Oh, it's really cute. Oh, they're in love.
It's only in your mind, dear.
Oh no, they are.
Of course, they're going to get a oil finish, so the color of the cherry will be enhanced more. But that's basically it. Making an owl. There's lots of other ways, I know, but this is how I every now and then make an owl. And I hope you had fun watching it. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.